So this week we did our case study on the Mayo Clinic and their use of AI in healthcare. This one was actually really interesting to me just because I come from a healthcare background and I've had an opportunity to see minimal use of AI. I haven't seen it a lot in the settings that I've worked in, but I also have a daughter with a seizure disorder. So as I was reading through this, initially my data all brought me to a discussion about heart monitoring and some of the technology they're using with AI to use one lead heart monitors on things such as watches and stuff like that. That kind of technology in order to be able to monitor for heart conditions. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then as I was reading through the class discussion, I had an opportunity to see somebody in there talking about how they were using it for brain disorders. So I decided to do a little bit of research on that. And as I was looking into it, I became fascinated with how they're using AI for EEGs and for device monitoring. So my daughter had to have 3 different times she had to have holes drilled in her brain in order to do testing. And a lot of it was because there's a lot of artifact and it's really hard to pinpoint the area of the brain where the seizures are coming from. So this had to occur for her multiple times before she could have a surgery to change that. Um, with the use of AI, the Mayo Clinic has essentially taken this technology and they're using AI to cut through the artifact and the noise so that they can pinpoint those areas quicker and be able to diagnose and start treatment plans sooner. They also have their it's called deep brain stimulation, if I remember correctly. DBS is the term I'm familiar with. But it's basically an implanted device by your collarbone that has a lead that goes up through an artery into your head, and there's a hole drilled to basically place a electrode into your brain, and then they connect the wire to that electrode, and that sends signal down to the device. And then when the device sees activity in the brain, it sends an electrical impulse back to try to get the brain to stop. The challenge with this is it takes a long time to adjust the machine to get it right. With their use of AI, it still is taking anywhere from 2 to 6 months to get done, but they're speeding up the process and they're continuing to find ways to improve it in order to get these machines fine-tuned for people and be able to help them reduce their seizures or stop their seizures. To me, this is a big deal. My daughter could have died from seizures. The last testing they did with her, they were struggling to get the last seizure to stop. They had to give her lots of different types of medications, and the surgeon at one point said he wasn't sure they were going to be able to get them to stop. I mean, she literally could have died doing the testing to try to fix what was going on with her because we took her off all of her medications and let her have seizures so they could get the data that they needed. So I think it's pretty awesome, actually, the technology that they're using, what they're using AI for. I think it's impressive, and I'm excited to see how it continues to develop. I think they're going to have to be really careful and make sure that they do things, that they're transparent, that they're using the technology ethically. But the Mayo Clinic seems to be going down a really great path and forging a new path with technology, and I'm really excited about it.